Everyone obsesses over how much money an animal makes. Almost nobody asks the question that actually decides whether you can do this without land. How much does it make per square foot? Square footage is the real ceiling. A closet, a shelf, a corner of a garage, that is your whole farm. And the winner is the animal that stacks densest and sells highest per inch of shelf. So today we rank 7 micro-livestock animals strictly by profit per square foot, worst to best. And here is the honest part I am putting first, because the comments always catch the people who bury it. You have heard the number $5,000 a month from a tiny footprint. That is the stacked aggregate, all 7 running together, fully built out after many months of work. It is not what one shelf prints next month. Anyone who tells you a single bin or tank hits $5,000 by next quarter is lying, and you know it. Your real buyers here are unglamorous and dependable. Reptile keepers, pet and bait shops, terrarium hobbyists, the online shrimp and isopod trade, and local egg buyers. The early months you net almost nothing because the colony is still building. We count down from 7 to 1, ending on the single best earner per inch I would start tomorrow. And before any math, one rule, repeated all the way down. Check your state species list, your city and HOA, and the shipping rules before you sell a single animal. Number 7. Mealworms. The larvae of the darkling beetle, grown in shallow, stacked trays of wheat bran, producing 3 sellable things. Live worms, dried worms, and beetle frass you sell as fertilizer. Almost nobody runs them for income, for one honest reason. The price per pound is low, so the whole game is volume and stacking, and a tower of trays fits in almost no floor space. Here is the real math. Startup is the cheapest on this list, roughly $60 to $160. A stack of 6 to 10 plastic trays, wheat bran bedding, and a starter 1,000 live mealworms. Ongoing is the lowest of all 7, $10 to $25 a month, mostly bran, scraps, and a little electricity. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is $20 to $60 in year 1. This is a pure volume game. On price, live mealworms run roughly 4 to 5 cents each in bulk, and dried mealworms sell for about $10 to $14 a pound. A whole pound of live worms is only a few dollars of value, so you win on square footage, not on price tags. Your 2 best buyers, local chicken keepers and wild bird feeders who buy steadily, and pet and reptile shops plus online bait listings for bulk volume, though the shop pays low wholesale. Now the legal landmine, mild but real. Mealworms need no federal permit for most sales and are legal across nearly all states, because the darkling beetle is already established everywhere. The flag is selling them as food. If you label dried mealworms as feed or food, your state may require a feed license or facility registration, so confirm before you print a label. Over $600 a year in sales is reportable income. Correct the hype out loud. Stack a tower of trays and mealworms print money on a shelf. Reality? They stack beautifully and the labor is low, but the price per pound is so thin that a beginner's tower nets tens of dollars a month, not hundreds, which is exactly why they sit at number 7. Number 6. Number 6. Red wigglers. The composting worm, Icenia fetida, raised in stacked bins that eat your food scraps and turn them into 2 products you sell: live worms by the pound and worm castings, which is premium fertilizer. The land livestock crowd ignores them because a worm is not exciting. The catch the hype skips, the worms multiply slowly, so the castings are usually where the steadier money sits. Real math. Startup is $80 to $200. A stacked worm tower or a few totes with bedding for $50 to $120, plus a starter pound of red wigglers, roughly 1,000 worms, for $30 to $40. Ongoing is almost nothing, 5 to 15 a month, because they eat your scraps and shredded cardboard for free. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is $20 to $50 in year one, climbing slowly because a pound of worms takes months to double. On price, live red wigglers sell for roughly $25 to $40 a pound retail, and finished castings move at about $10 to $20 a gallon. The castings refill faster than the worms multiply, which is your real cash stream. Your two best buyers, home gardeners and local garden groups for castings who reorder every season, and anglers plus bait shops for live worms, though bait shops pay wholesale. Now the legal landmine. Red wigglers need no federal permit and are legal in essentially every state because they are a ubiquitous compost worm, not the regulated invasive jumping worm, Amynthus, which several states restrict. State that distinction on camera because buyers confuse them and never dump a bin into the wild. If you sell castings labeled as fertilizer, some states require a soil amendment registration, so check your state rules first. Over $600 a year is reportable income. Correct the hype out loud. Worm bins are passive money, castings sell for $30 a pound, easy. Reality, the castings reorder well, but the worms breed slowly, and a beginner's bin tower nets tens of dollars a month, not a paycheck. It outranks mealworms because castings carry a far higher margin than brand-grown worms. Number 5. Coturnix Quail. The fast-laying game bird that goes from egg to laying in about 8 weeks and fits in stacked cages most cities never zone as poultry. They give 3 income streams in one bird: table eggs, hatching eggs, and dressed meat. People skip them because they assume any bird needs a yard, when a vertical cage rack of quail fits where a single large dog crate would sit. Real math. Startup is $200 to $450. A stackable wire cage rack, feeder, waterer, and a small incubator run $160 to $400, plus a starter covey of 20 to 30 breeding birds for $40 to $100. Ongoing is the highest so far, $40 to $90 a month, because unlike worms and bugs, quail eat real feed, 20 to 25 grams of game bird crumble per bird per day. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is $50 to $150 from a single rack in year one, and feed is what eats your margin. A hen lays 5 to 6 eggs a week at peak, so 50 hens give around 250 eggs a week. On price, table eggs sell for about $4 to $6 a dozen locally. Hatching eggs far higher, roughly $15 to $40 a dozen for good lines, and live birds or dressed meat add a third stream. Your two best buyers, local egg customers and feed store boards who buy every week, and hatching egg and live bird buyers on local groups who pay the premium prices. Now the legal landmine, the one quail people get wrong. Coturnix are classed as a game bird, not poultry, in many places, which is why they slip past chicken zoning. But that classification is federal framing, and your city or HOA can still ban them. Several states also require a small game bird breeder permit. Say it plainly. Check your state wildlife agency and your city ordinance before you buy a bird. Over $600 a year is reportable income. Correct the hype out loud. Quail are legal everywhere because they are game birds, and they print egg money fast. Reality, the 8-week cycle is genuinely fast, and the eggs sell, but feed cost is real and ongoing. The classification does not override your city or HOA, and a single rack nets a useful side income, not a salary. Number 4. Dubia Roaches. The feeder roach reptile keepers and pet stores constantly run out of, raised in stacked bins in a closet with no smell and no noise. They climb almost nothing, so they stay in open bins. and a few totes on a shelf supply a whole local reptile scene. People avoid them on the ick factor alone, which is exactly why demand chronically outruns supply. Real math. Startup is $100 to $250. A few opaque bins with egg flat stacks and a heat source run $90 to $190, plus a starter colony of a few hundred mixed adults for $40 to $90. Ongoing is low, $15 to $35 a month, mostly chicken feed, vegetables, and the electricity to hold them at roughly 90 degrees. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is $50 to $150 once the colony matures, but month 1 through 6 is near zero because Dubia ramps slowly before they explode. On price, Dubia retail around 4 to 6 cents each in 1,000-count boxes, so roughly $45 to $60 per thousand. The money is steady local volume. Your two best buyers, local reptile keepers and reptile expo tables, who buy live feeders every week, and independent pet and reptile stores, which chronically run short and take recurring supply, though they pay wholesale. Now the legal landmine, the sharpest on the list. Dubia roaches are banned in Florida outright, classed a conditional species by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. So import, sale, possession, and breeding without a special permit is illegal, with penalties for both shipper and recipient. Louisiana bans them too, so Florida's legal feeder is the discoid roach instead. Say it on camera, never ship Dubia into Florida. Check your own state's conditional species list first. Over $600 a year is reportable income. Correct the hype out loud. Stores beg for Dubia, so a few bins are an instant $4,000 a month. Reality, the demand gap is real, but they ramp slowly for half a year. They are illegal in 2 states, and a beginner's rack nets a solid recurring side income, not a 4-figure paycheck overnight. They rank above quail because they need no feed-heavy birds. Number 3. Crested Geckos. The hardy, no-heat lamp lizard bred on a stacked rack of tubs where a single shelf holds dozens of animals worth tens to hundreds of dollars each. This is where profit per square foot jumps, because you stop selling pennies each feeders and start selling whole animals. People skip breeding them because they assume reptiles need huge enclosures, when a proven crested rack fits a closet. Real math. Startup is the highest on this list, $300 to $700. A reptile rack or tubs plus a small incubator and lay boxes run $260 to $500. And breeding stock, a proven trio of 1 male and 2 females, runs roughly $150 to $400, more for premium morphs. Ongoing is low, $20 to $40 a month, because cresteds eat a powdered fruit and insect diet you mix with water, plus a few feeders. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is 0 in year 1, then $50 to $200 a month once females are laying and babies reach selling size. And the brutal truth is that ramp is long. A healthy female lays clutches of 2 eggs every few weeks, roughly 12 to 18 a season. But eggs take 60 to 75 days to hatch, and babies take months to grow out. On price, common hatchlings sell for $35 to $50, nicer harlequins and reds $100 to several hundred, and standout morphs into the thousands, though that is the rare exception, not beginner output. Your 2 best buyers? Morph Market, the main reptile marketplace where named morphs sell direct to hobbyists, and reptile expos plus local groups for face-to-face sales. Now, the legal landmine. Crested geckos are captive bred and legal to own and sell in nearly every state, but Hawaii bans them entirely, and selling across state lines means following USPS and courier live animal rules. A home reptile business can also trigger a local business license question once you scale. Over $600 a year is reportable income. Correct the hype out loud. One rack of geckos at $100 a baby is easy four-figure months. Reality? The per-animal value is genuinely high, but the breeding ramp is a full year before real money, and a beginner nets nothing in year one. They rank above Dubia because each square foot of rack holds animals worth dollars. Number 2. Number 2. Designer Isopods. The bioactive cleanup crew that exploded into a collector hobby. Bred in shoebox bins stacked on shelves, where rare morphs sell for shocking money per animal. A single shelf of bins is a working farm. The reason almost nobody runs them for income is that the rare lines take a long time to multiply, which is exactly why the supply stays thin and the prices stay high. Real math. Startup is $100 to $300. Ventilated bins, substrate, leaf litter, and cork bark run $60 to $150. And starter cultures, where common dairy cow or Porcellio laevis run $15 to $25 for a 10 count, and rarer cubaris lines like rubber ducky run over $100 for a 6 count. Ongoing is the lowest of any animal here, $5 to $15 a month, because they eat leaf litter, rotting wood, and your scraps. The honest monthly net for a solo beginner is $0 for the first several months while cultures establish, then $30 to $150 a month as bins fill. The whole game is patience. Common species breed fast and sell cheap. Rare species breed slowly and sell high. On price, common dairy cows sell around $1 to $2.50 each, while designer cubaris morphs fetch $15, $20, even $50+ per individual. Your two best buyers, bioactive and terrarium hobbyists on forums and Facebook groups who pay top dollar for clean, rare lines, and reptile and isopod expos plus online stores. Now the legal landmine, the one most isopod sellers ignore. To ship isopods across state lines legally, you generally need a USDA APHIS PPQ 526 permit because they are regulated as potential plant pests, and some states ban specific non-native species outright. Selling within your own state is usually fine, but interstate sales without the 526 is a real violation. Say it plainly. Get the PPQ 526 before you ship out of state. Over $600 a year is reportable income. Correct the hype out loud. Rare isopods sell for $50 each, so a few bins are passive riches. Reality? The rare lines breed slowly and take months to fill a bin. The common lines are only $1 or $2 each, and interstate shipping needs a federal permit most sellers skip. They rank at number 2 because a single shoebox of rare morphs is the highest value per square inch here. Number 1. Neocaridina Shrimp. The cherry shrimp grades, including Bloody Mary, Blue Dream, and Green Jade. A 1-inch freshwater dwarf shrimp that breeds non-stop in a planted tank with no heater, and stacks vertically on a shelf rack better than anything else on this list. It is the profit per square foot champion because a single 10-gallon footprint holds 100+ shrimp. You rack the tanks vertically, and the collector market pays for color. The one I would start tomorrow. Here is the real math, the densest dollar per square foot of all 7. Startup is $130 to $260 for one 10-gallon tank, sponge filter, and air pump, light, plants, and remineralizer, run $100 to $180, plus a starter colony of 10 to 15, 30 to 50 for standard grade, 40 to 80 for Bloody Mary or Blue Dream. The genius is vertical stacking. A shelf rack runs 4 or 5 tanks off one air pump in the floor space of a single tank. Ongoing is $15 to $40 a month per tank, food, remineralizer, and a trickle of electricity. Now, the honest monthly net. For a solo beginner with one tank, it is $0 to $60, realistic in year 1. Months 1 through 4, you net nothing because the colony is still building. After that, a healthy 10-gallon throws 20 to 30 saleable shrimp a month. Stack the rack, and that multiplies per square foot, which is the whole reason they win. On price, standard red runs $1 to $3 a shrimp, mid-grade $3 to $5, and high grades Fire Red, Bloody Mary, Blue Dream $5 to $8 each, with premium online listings reaching $20 to $30 apiece. The fish store pays only cents, so the money is direct to hobbyists. Your two buyers, the online shrimp trade, Aquabid and the r/Aquaswap community at those color grade prices, and local fish stores and aquarium society auctions. Now the legal landmine. Neocaridina need no federal permit and are legal in nearly all states because they cannot establish in cold U.S. waters. The real flags are shipping and sales. USPS ships them via priority mail under Publication 52, in water with a heat pack. Florida bars stores from buying livestock from unlicensed breeders. Over $600 a year is reportable income. Correct the hype out loud. Shrimp print money. One tank pays your rent. Reality? They breed fast and stack vertically better than anything here. But a solo beginner single tank nets roughly $20 to $60 a month after a 3 to 4 month ramp. The money is a rack of premium grade tanks, sold direct, built over time. So how do these 7 stack into one roughly $5,000 aggregate per tiny footprint? You build by profit per square foot, densest first. Start with the shrimp rack because vertical tanks give the most dollars per floor tile and fund the rest. Add a shelf of Designer Isopod bins next, the highest value per square inch running on free leaf litter. Layer in Dubia bins and a quail rack for steady local volume. Then Crested Geckos for high-ticket animals once you can wait out the year-long ramp. Keep mealworms and worm bins underneath as the cheap, dense base that eats your scraps. 7 break-even hobbies become one stacked income after many months, not next week. A free starter guide in the description has the build order and the legal points per animal. That ranking is my honest read, worst to best by dollars per square foot. But remember the promise from the top. The $5,000 is the stacked aggregate of all 7 running together after many months, not what one shelf pays next month. The honest beginner reality is tens of dollars a month per animal, climbing to real recurring income only when you stack them and let the colonies build. The early months, you net almost nothing, and that is normal. The one I would start tomorrow is number 1, Neocaridina Shrimp, because nothing else turns a single square foot of shelf into a vertical rack of compounding color the way they do. And the refrain that runs this entire list? Before you sell a single animal, check 3 things. Your state's invasive and conditional species list, because Dubia roaches are banned in Florida and Louisiana. Isopods need a USDA PPQ 526 permit to cross state lines, and crested geckos are banned in Hawaii. Your city ordinance and your HOA or lease, because the quail game bird classification does not override local zoning. And the online sale shipping rules, because USPS Publication 520 governs how live animals move, and over $600 a year is reportable income. If a single number surprised you, or you would rank these differently, tell me in the comments, because the people running these on their actual shelves keep me honest. If the real math helped, the modest net numbers, and the legal landmines nobody else says out loud, subscribe, because that honesty is the whole channel. Next video, I take the cherry shrimp and go deep. The real first-year build, the real per-tank numbers, and the mistakes that cost beginners their first colony.